to Friendverse, the podcast. This is Wandia.
And this is Shiko.
Yay, we're back for another dose of awesomeness.
Before we even go further, we want to thank everyone who's been listening, who's been sharing. Thank you even for DMing me your thoughts. And if you want to contact us, we are on Instagram, Twitter. Our email is always at the show notes. So you could also email us if you want to tell us something. And yeah, let's start the show.
But wait, before we get onto the topic of today, remember the last episode we were discussing ending relationships?
Yeah.
And when we're talking about closure, I remember you sent me a link to a YouTube channel, Truth and Drink. So I was thinking it wouldn't be such a terrible idea to do that that activity with an ex.
Hey.
I mean, granted that you can be in the same physical space and, just have a fun activity. I mean, it's pretty cool. Those questions are a lot of fun.
I know. I like that one guy who started crying. Oh my God, you remember?
Yeah.
Okay, I shouldn't laugh, but it was his fault. Even him,
Yeah,
he's mad. It was his fault. They
like-
broke up. Anyway, I've watched all those. As in, there was
I had so
one
much fun.
where it's like kids and their parents.
Yeah.
Then now it's a dude, like he's like 30 and the mom is like maybe 50 something.
Yeah.
Then it was like, what's your favorite sexual position or something?
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then the dude
Nope.
is like, you should drink. The mom is like, hell no, it's doggy and 69. I was dying. And then the dude is like, hiya, me too. And then they gave each other high fives.
So we can be clear that will not be happening with any of our parents.
Never.
Not on this continent.
Never,
I
ever.
doubt it.
Ever. Anyway.
Maybe those people who call themselves white Africans,
as Naira Wahid said,
those ones.
there is nothing like
'Cause-
a white African, okay?
Yeah.
By the way, that poem I keep reposting it. I'm like, when white people are in Asia or whatever, they don't call themselves white Asians
Yeah.
or white Indians. They're
To be
only
fair, I've
white
seen some people
Africans
calling
in
themselves
Africa.
Black Asians.
Well, you see, that's now power dynamics.
Yeah.
You see, if black
Actually,
people
no.
were
I
taken
take that
to-
back because those people are of mixed.
That's fine.
Yeah, mixed
Me, I'm
families. So I
saying-
think that one is fine.
Me, I'm
Ignore.
saying people who came here
Yes.
violently through colonialism,
Exactly.
calling themselves white Africans.
Exactly. They're not even mixed.
No,
They're just
they are
white as snow.
as they are called Kenyan cowboys. Those ones,
Yeah.
those ones.
So let me ask you, how would you approach the situation? Would you just send a link to your ex so that, how do you do it?
That's truth and
Asking for myself.
no, of course you just send them the link.
It's
yeah.
Where?
Do you want to do this thing? By the way, would guys be interested in that? Like, go to
I
YouTube
know.
and search for Truth and Drink. It's on the Cut page. The Cut, which is a
The Cut.
magazine.
Yeah.
So, and then watch, and then just, if you're interested, let's do this thing, man. It's so
Yeah,
funny.
it's too much
It's
fun.
So, okay, some of them are kind of cringy, but some of them, like I've watched, they're like
think it's a
100
good
and something
activity.
Videos, you guys.
I think
I've
at the end
watched
of it,
them.
you feel lighter or
think
nicer.
so?
I think it's fun as long as you do the activity while you don't have any baggage
Yes,
with that
I
person.
agree.
So that it's more of realizing new things or just fun,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, true. So now to regular scheduled programming. I'm the one who's reading
Yes.
something. And speaking
What
of,
have you been reading?
first of all, speaking of Naira, I have to bring her back. You get
Bring
tired
her
of Naira,
back.
but man, she is
Tired of
genius.
Naira, is that a
Genius.
thing? Is it possible?
It's can never. Genius
It's
level
just not realistic.
at all. Actually, I have two things to read. And they're kind of related if you think about it. I mean, open your third eye.
Well, but hearing this from Shiko is a new thing, and I welcome it, to be honest. Bring it on.
Okay, so the first one is Naira Wahid, and she said, I am mine before I am ever anyone else's.
Indeed.
Think about it.
Kwa hayo machache.
Yes. and then and then the second one is Anne Lamott, who's an author. She's a novelist. And it's a sentence. So basically what she said in one of her books was, no is a complete sentence.
Yep.
That's it.
Does not need any qualifiers. Just no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will need that T-shirt.
I know. By
Yeah.
the way, Friendverse match coming soon. By
Yeah,
the way.
soon.
Yeah. If you're interested, drop me a DM on the Instagram page,
Yeah.
which is Friendverse Podcast. You can follow us.
Yay.
Now, the crux of the matter. Is it crux or crooks, by the way?
Yes, sijawahi sikia, but please educate me.
The crux of the matter, like the phrase, really want here?
Okay, so you're treading. So now it's a tricky position you're trying to put yourself in. I don't know.
Okay, sawa. Okay, let's get into this story.
Yeah, saying no.
Yeah.
And now that we've been told no is a complete sentence,
Exactly.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm just going to start from the beginning. Kids know how to say no. Like when you're a kid, you know is like your favorite. You hear mothers complain about how kids say no all the time.
Is it parents who tell kids no, or it's kids who tell them?
No, even kids, like when they're just starting to talk and then you try and feed them, they're like, no. You know what I mean? Of course, they learn it from their parents, but they say it because they don't want to do
With
this
conviction.
thing. And then we kind of, that no is beaten out of us. By the way, this is my theory. It's not researched or anything. It's beaten out of us so that we end up saying yes to things that we would otherwise say no to.
Or you stay silent, like what you're saying, you stay
Yes.
silent and you're just uncomfortable because you don't want to commit.
So you say maybe or you keep quiet.
And you just
know
look
what I'm saying?
uncomfortable as hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then for women, it's
Ooh, I relate.
compounded
Oh my God.
by the fact that
yeah.
if you say no, you can have something violent can happen to you.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about situations where, let's say, a man is in your space or whatever, and you don't want that.
Speak it.
You say no,
Yeah.
and you can end up dead.
Yeah.
So we are trying to reclaim. I don't know if that's the right word, but we are trying to say no more.
Yeah. Make
now.
people comfortable hearing no from us.
Yes, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's not only saying no, it's now the other person to realize that no means no. Because I know one of the things that's sold, it's still socialized and sold and whatever, is that when a girl says no, she really means yes.
Oh
You
my
know what I
God.
mean?
For the longest time we believed that.
Yes, and
Ama, if a girl is, what's the word? Being mean to you, or a boy is being mean to you, they
it
like
means
you.
they like you. Yeah.
Oh my God,
I know,
dangerous.
Quite. So now it's this thing where if a girl is saying no, she's playing hard to get. It's like infantilizing women,
Yes.
like they don't know their mind.
And they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no, it does not mean me telling, like a woman telling a man no is not an opening for a man to coerce a yes out of me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because that's what it most often looks like. Like I'm saying no, so that you can now is the time to put that energy to make
Yeah.
that no a yes. And then because you're so tired and because you're scared and because of all these things, you say yes, and then you kind of further that thing that no does not mean no. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a man has to push. You say no, a man pushes, you say
Yeah.
yes. And I find that so troubling
Yes.
in so many ways.
Like I was just thinking, of course, in the huge conversation around consent and this thing for having an enthusiastic yes.
Yes.
I think it's so important.
It is so important.
Like for sex, I feel like if I'm not like, yes, we're doing this and yay, what, and everything. Because can you imagine being in the position where, like, let's say you're right in the middle of it or just before and you're like, oh, this is not where I want to be. And, even saying no at that point,
I
do
know,
you know how hard it is?
Do you know how hard? As in you're there,
Oh my
and then
God.
you're not even enjoying it.
Even guilt. Like, why the hell am I feeling guilty for saying no? You
That
see,
is the
we've been
thing.
conditioned so
It's,
badly.
that is the thing, conditioning.
Yeah,
It
and
is
it's
so bad.
It's so terrible.
Like even when you're talking about enthusiastic consent,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like someone is enjoying. I've seen men
Mm.
who believe that sex for them, sex is for them. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
It
So
happens
whether-
to women,
yeah.
but it's like for men.
Yeah.
They take it from you,
Yes,
you know.
yes, it's like a power thing for
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So even that enthusiastic yes is not something that they even care about, you know.
Or even know how it, or if you're really enthusiastic about it, it becomes like, oh, you're too like slutty, you're like, oh, that's whorish behavior, you know, all that stuff. And I'm like, why can't we be enthusiastic and, you know, and enjoy this more than maybe what you're accustomed to or what you think is proper?
Yeah,
You see, people don't
yeah.
even know how to recognize enthusiastic consent.
Yes.
It's now turned into something dirty and, you know, something that is, you know, taboo or something that is uncomfortable for the man, which they should be enjoying. They
That's
should
the
be
thing.
happy.
But and you know where that stems from? Part of it, obviously, is that thing where I say no and then you coerce the yes
Yep.
out of me. So that
Yep.
even yes, the yes you've coerced for me, obviously, it's not enthusiastic,
Yeah.
but it's a yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh,
So even when you say yes,
levels.
you know, like enthusiastically, now someone is like, no. That's not the type I like. Me, I like when I have to force it out
I
of you. It's like
know.
nika umekata. Then
Oh my
I won. I won when you finally. Then you know you have a story for your boys. Or now you feel like your ego has been
By
pumped
the
because
way,
you
by the
convinced someone. It's more.
it's that
It's
dominance
more for them. Yeah.
It's that dominance, and then now it's like a conquest.
Yes.
Oh God. But
Oh,
anyway,
it's
not to
terrible.
lose the plot. It's about saying no. And
Yeah, generally.
yeah.
Whether
how-
it's with family, whether it's with
Yes.
sex, whether it's
Yes.
the job, whether it's, you know, good things or bad things, you know,
it's
all
so
those things.
you know, like now me. I say no all the time. By the way, no is like it's so freeing for me.
Yeah.
And these are things like, let's say, for example, like going for a family function. You know, if I don't feel like going, I'll say no.
Yep.
And because it's one of those things where we are so used to going as in familiaring. You know what I'm saying? As in, let me just
It's
get
expected
it over
of you.
and
It's your
done.
you're obligated to do
You're
it.
obligated to do these things. So you're like, let me go for this thing, get it over and done with, and you know, let me keep
Yep.
the peace or
Yep.
whatever. So you're the one suffering at if in the name of peace.
Yeah.
Let me just tell.
Or
and
the
I-
way things should be.
yeah, and it has always been like that. Ama,
Hello.
because you used to say it before, you used to say yes before,
Yeah.
you can't change
It's
your
forever.
mind. Yeah, along the way.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it's really terrible. And what I've realized, like with those family obligations and everything, I mean, I need time. Firstly, it has to work with my schedule. You know, it has to be okay. What's the plan? What's the plan? Like, is everyone feeling comfortable to meet and everything? And if I say once that I'm unavailable for this, it doesn't mean now you guilt trip me.
Ooh,
Wandia said she could not do this. Now she's turning her back on family. She's now, you know, breaking the covenant. And I'm like, okay. Simmer down, everyone. Just relax. People have, you know, a wealth of experience that they're living outside this family.
Yes.
You know, people don't appreciate the fact that, okay, yes, maybe I don't have kids. Y'all don't know if I'm, you know, I'm in a relationship or something, but I do have a life outside this, you know, this family obligation.
Yeah.
So even when someone tells you no, respect that.
Let me tell you,
It's for a reason.
There is no guilt tripping like family guilt.
Oh,
tripping.
yes.
You know, I was told, as in, you know, in the end, you will never know the importance of a family until you come through hard times. I have such a I know this has nothing to do with what you're talking about, but I really have a problem with that mentality, because if I'm not enjoying
Yeah.
our relationship through the good times, like when we are having good times, if I'm not enjoying it, then now when I'm sick, and then now that's when now I'll be like, Famo matters
must
because they
come
come through for me,
Yeah.
you know. And half the time people are not even coming through because they want to come through. It's because
that like-
it's
yeah,
because we share
at
the
least
same
you're
blood.
yeah, you're
so I'm
forced to
like,
do it.
so now you are just proving my point. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, relationships should not be what's the word I'm thinking about? They should not be based on the difficult
thing that you give me
situations.
at
you
the
know what I'm
end, you
saying?
know?
Yeah, it should
Sai
not,
vumilia.
it should also
Like
be the fun things and the happy things and the good things. But to go back to
No,
saying no.
before that, because, you know, we always love
I know we always go out of
meandering.
topic.
But the point isn't that like Christianity, that you're told so that you can get to heaven?
Yes.
Just do this, and this, and this, and this,
And
and
you
this.
know,
Yeah.
the worst thing about Christianity is people will say you don't go to church, so that's the biggest judgment.
Yeah.
But people who go to church are so mean and unkind, but then on Sunday they'll wear their best clothes and go to this service and listen to this guy who's probably stealing their money. You know what I'm saying?
Indeedy.
So I'm like, so you're making a judgment on me because I don't go to church.
Yeah.
Even in the Bible, you should not be judging me. It's right there. But
Yeah.
you're judging me. But you know what? I understand why people go to church and are religious and whatnot. But I'm sorry, me, I'm not living my life with those rules, so I'm gonna judge you from out here.
Exactly. Yeah. So we can come back
I know.
to saying no to family, and that thing about the guilt. They will take advantage of that because they
Ooh.
also know you.
They know.
They know
which
that
buttons.
Shiko, she'll feel bad. That I think it's automatic that you'll feel guilty that maybe you're not being the best sister, the best daughter, like all those things. You'll feel like, oh, maybe they do rely on me, and now I'm just messing up. I should be there and everything, regardless of what my personal needs are. And that's really complicated because you see with friendships it's different, maybe in some way, because you're choosing to be friends with someone and you understand that, okay, Shiko is like this, Wandia is like this.
Yeah.
But it's like with family, the rules have already been set before you even existed. So it's like you already signed the commitment in blood, and you can never change. You can never grow into someone new. People always think that you're stuck in this way.
Yeah.
And maybe based on the type of life you're living, they expect that you're not too busy, or people with kids now, you see they have a different life, but you now who doesn't have kids, you should be
you're
like
free
this
to do all these
yeah
things.
you see you still rely on us, and I'm like, just because you guys are now pengine on my what's this, when you're writing next of kin, doesn't mean that now I'm a slave to this relationship.
Yes.
You can't just coast in this relationship and act like me. I won't say no because you make me feel bad about myself, or I don't want to hang out with you more than this number of times. I do believe there's the importance of building a relationship with your family, right? But not to the extent of to my detriment.
And that's it,
right?
And that saying no is about setting boundaries.
Yes.
And boundaries should be set for every single relationship, familial including.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember when I was younger, like I was that chick who was like, Shiko, come do this. It's me uko number one. Shiko do. Then it reached a point, by the way, about turn. Because I found myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't even enjoy doing. I was doing it out of obligation
why?
more than anything else.
Yeah.
And it was like I was not allowed to say no. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But now I'm like, no.
Nope. You get a nope.
And
they get a nope.
I don't, like, I feel no guilt.
Yeah.
Like, I go for the events I want to go for. I say what I feel needs to be said, and I hang out with the family that I want to hang out with. And the rest, I'm like, then you meet people at a funeral, they're like, oh, you have two-bad me. In my head, I'm like, it's because I don't want to hang out with you, but I'm not going to say it because I'm kind.
Yeah, but now I'm even wondering, why would someone do that? No, why are they saying that? You've two-bad me, and I'm like, what, you want to hurt yourself?
No, but
Hurting
people,
yourself is what you want?
Those are those boring things people say.
Yeah,
know what
I'm like,
saying?
oh my God.
I think people say without even thinking of what it means. It's like,
can we just hug and move on?
I know. Let's just say what's up and let's not
like,
pretend we are buddies.
Let
here.
us not.
And then that person who has told you that you've tupered them, they've never even looked for you. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
also, if you look for me, what must we do?
like,
I'm like,
go for cafe.
oh no, that seems dangerous.
I know.
So you see, when you talked about boundaries, so I was reading Alex L, I think on her Instagram, and she was talking about the difference between boundaries and barriers. Yeah,
of course.
So something important there is, like, especially I'll use the example of family. Yeah, telling them no. So you see, you can't say no all the time.
No.
Yeah, because that then would be creating a barrier.
Yes.
You are part of this
That family
or that type of community.
Yeah. Unless they are toxic. Then
Exactly.
You can
Unless it's that level of toxicity where you're just like, okay, this can't continue and the barrier should remain.
Yeah.
As long as it's to your detriment, I feel like you are, deserving to move away from that situation.
Yes.
But then we also need to be careful that we're not creating a barrier by pulling away, right?
And I think we need to give ourselves the benefit of the
Yeah.
doubt, because we know the people we want to create barriers for,
Mm-hmm.
and those we need to create boundaries for. I think I give myself I know. So of course I don't say no to everything
Yeah.
or whatever, because I mean it's far more. You know what I mean? But that if I don't want to say something, I'm not gonna say it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel
or
like
do it.
I stopped repeating myself.
Yeah.
I said no, right?
Yeah.
And I said why I said no.
No.
Like I said
that
it.
should be enough.
Don't harangue me and just make me feel like I'm an idiot or a child. I said it. You continue singing your song and everything. Like, just don't at me. Continue doing it as background white noise. We will sleep, we'll eat, we will do all these things, and you'll still be there talking about it, you know. And I think this is the thing of showing your family or those people that you're saying no, that maybe in the past this was how it was happening.
Yeah.
But this is the new me.
Yeah, and people
Do you
change.
want to accept it, or or you want to be stuck there?
Yeah.
Because you can easily be someone else may be creating the barrier for you.
Yeah.
Because now if you refuse my boundary, then it means that we cannot continue, right? So as a last born, it happens often. People will be
Yeah.
like, Wandia, she's not busy. Like she's still a child. People I think still put me in that level. And
Yeah.
I'm 30 years old. Like that's old.
Yeah.
That's like it's very
But
old.
they- they'll tell you, you're still my child.
Right. I mean, like someone who has moved out, you have your own life, you're paying your,
Yeah.
like you have you have another life. It's totally separate. You don't know how I wake up and go to sleep and all those things. Someone has a separate life. So if you do not want to fit in the way their new life is existing, then it seems like you're also creating a barrier with this
Yes,
person.
yes.
Because I may not want to create a barrier with them, but they force me to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. Now, and also talking about boundaries, I'm thinking about like in friendships, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And one of the things that comes to my head is about money. Money and friendship and loaning money and whatever. You know, my stance on that is I
Yeah.
do not, like, I just don't lend, even my family, like, I don't lend, I don't lend people money. Let's start from there. Like, if I give you money, by the way, I've given you that money. It's not with the expectation that you'll pay
Nime
back.
record here.
Yeah, no, but
I'm
people
just
don't.
going
By
to-
that I don't even feature. I'm like me and money, because I feel like sometimes people loan money, not at I'm being nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of, one of them is like they don't know how to say no. Like a big part of it is because they don't know how to say no. Because if someone is coming to ask you for money, do you even know their financial situation? Like, have you ever talked about finances?
Yeah.
Because talking to people about finances is more than borrowing money.
Yeah.
It's about, so by the time someone comes to borrow money from you, you know, it's a conversation you've had before about their finances. You know what I'm saying? So every time I see like someone has borrowed money and it's not been paid back, I'm like, you should have said no, number one, because that's a barrier. Not now, you see, you've put barrier in my head. That's a boundary
Yeah.
you need to create for the well-being of your relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because you see everyone, like, if someone borrows something and then they don't, like, friendships end because of that. Relationships change because of that. And part of it is because we don't know how to say no. It's like there's this expectation, especially around certain issues, that you should say yes. And I'm like, no,
Nope.
that's not the way it's supposed to be. You should be able to say no, by the way. And it's not because I don't have money. Okay, it's, it's those things of, I have this, I'm not comfortable doing it, And if your relationship changes because you did not give money to this person, then that was not a relationship that you needed to have.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like people take advantage of that. That's just a throwaway comment. So, yeah, it's important to set boundaries around certain issues, kind of like the money issues. And on top of that, other boundaries that need to be created, like saying no to like going out. I think about all the things I did that I didn't want to do when I was young, and so I bring
Yeah.
them up right now. Because I'm like, sometimes there's peer pressure. Everyone is going out. Let's go out.
Yeah.
Everyone is doing this. Let's do this. And it's because you have not created healthy boundaries, and it's because also you don't know how to say no.
Or FOMO.
Well,
FOMO.
FOMO you can unlearn FOMO. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But just as you can
Or your knees can help you learn.
yes. No, but as in you see people going into debt or borrowing money or whatever because they want to keep up with the
Yeah.
Joneses. You know what I'm saying? And part of it is saying no to these things. Like you learn and then someone tells you, oh, let's go out. And then you say, no, by the way, I don't feel like.
Exactly.
And I feel sad that, as you grow older, you're like, man, these days I don't go out when I don't feel like going out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you don't need to fika 30 to learn that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Part of it is saying no to people and also saying no to yourself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're like, do I really need
Do you want to go even?
You know what I'm saying? Do I really need to? So, and that's why I'm like, where do we lose that no in our life? Like saying no. Because there was a time we were saying no all the time, but suddenly now it's like,
Do I even remember?
I
I guess it's maybe even when you're living, let's say, in your parents' house, you feel like you shouldn't say no.
which is a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other topic about how our parents have us as
It's
like
like-
mere extensions of them to do their will
We've
and
been
their
held
bidding.
ransom.
Yeah.
Because they're paying for our food, they're paying for our school fees. You
They
can't
gave
tell
birth
them
to
no.
us.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? I'm like, as
Yeah.
in that's a whole, that one is like meta, man. As in
Exactly.
It needs,
And it feels like then when you move out, it spirals out of control because now you're like, now I can do whatever I want.
Exactly.
And then for them, it's difficult for them to play catch up to the new situation. And even you, now you're like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And now it kind of also, I don't know, like for me, I have experienced some of, like a bit of this where I'm like, it's even difficult for me to want to. You know, those ones where now I'm fighting with, okay, maybe you should, but then still I'm like, I don't want to.
and it's a difficult position
Yeah.
to be in. Honestly, it's quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like me, I know I've said no, and I know no is the right thing to
Yeah.
say, and I've cried about that no because it's uncomfortable for there to be tension. You know, there's all this tension, as in a relationship that was smooth and
Yes.
whatever. Now you've said no, there's a whole lot of
It's
tension.
heavy, you know, it's heavy.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's quite heavy, but in the end, I'm like, you know what, this is for my peace of mind, and if I regret saying this no, it's still my regret.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's mine. At least
I
it's
made
mine.
this decision.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's true.
So it's hard and it's so uncomfortable,
But
but
it's the best.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it's really hard, to be honest, especially with family. I'm trying to now figure out, let's say in the workplace,
Yeah.
saying no in the workplace, especially saying no even to men
Yeah.
in the workplace.
I know.
So recently I was having a conversation with someone on Instagram and they were like, we were talking about, you know, the way you can get hit on by someone at work, a dude at work. So for the heteros, for me, I have one rule, like in the workplace, like you can beg, you can bring the limo, you can do the what, you can, you know, transfer money to my, like I will not put myself in that position. One of us must quit because for sure the power dynamics, one person will always look bad and it will be the woman. Yeah. And who wants to jeopardize their career unless I'm quitting or they're quitting.
Yeah.
So for me, that's something that I've always carried with me. But then I was just thinking, like, times when I've actually told a dude no in the office, then they sulk.
Yeah.
You know, they start behaving childish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, before I was being friendly, you know,
Yeah.
where we can even talk beyond the work sphere, you know. But then you've proved that you cannot even be trusted with that, you know. So it's like you're pushed to now even cut off any type of civility, and now it's just, dear this person, please find attached the brief that you hear it's this, you need to revise it and do all. Like now it becomes 100% business because you can't be trusted because now anything I do might be shown as like I'm interested in having something with you. Yeah. But the moment you say no, then there's trouble for you. Yeah. Now it's either Wandia is now the hard ass in the office. She's not even polite. She's, she needs to be blamed for this, and this, or she needs to be hazed in some form of way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, aren't I allowed to say no to you? Especially now it's at work. We're not even on the street or anywhere. We're not even in a friend group.
Yeah.
I've just said no, I'm not interested in it. And suddenly, now I'm facing consequences for that. And it's so terrible.
It is quite.
In one way, I'm like, it's so unfair for women who tell men no. Yeah. But I'm like, women, we should continue telling them no.
They need to get used
yeah, exactly.
Let them hearing no, because it's always been yes. And as women, there's a whole lot of conditioning to be likable. So we say yes to be liked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So because we don't want to be seen as how they portray the women in the workplace or like these women who are
the bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's someone who says no. But you know what?
Maybe from female bosses to female drivers, it's like we are Angia.
I know.
Like, I mean, and I'm like, okay, that is it's annoying.
Yeah.
Because I can't even show any sense of being in control of my own situation.
No.
You have to be the one who's controlling my yes, my no, my decisions in life so that I can be deemed as good enough.
Yes.
Well, we've refused that type of infantilization, because it's like we're being told we're children. We don't know what we want.
Yeah.
Basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm even angry right now. Seriously, because I'm thinking about how we are expected to want to be liked. And even honestly, when sometimes I see women doing it, like I know you. I know you don't want to do this thing, but you've been conditioned so much to be liked and to always think about men and all those things. And I'm always like, oh God, let it go, sis.
To be honest, it's also hard to let go of. And sometimes, you'll find yourself saying yes, maybe to minimize the consequence on yourself.
I agree.
I know.
Then
you're like,
I know.
Oh, you do the 1+1 and the cost benefit analysis. You're like, oh God, let me just say yes.
But isn't it terrible that we have to be in that situation?
Totally
honestly,
terrible. But then sometimes, in some way, it might be some sort of self-care. Where you're just like, I don't have the energy to ruffle the feathers that this no will ruffle feathers.
Oh God.
And I'm like, oh my God. And it's really unfortunate that you're forced in a position that you don't want to. It's like, let's say it's in the dark and a man starts talking to you and maybe they give you a compliment. Sometimes I'm like, thank you. I'd rather smile and say thank you. Because if I pass and just act like I did now,
I know
it will be a fight. Someone might want to come and touch me and be like, oh, so you think you're better than me? What?
Oh,
sometimes I'm just like, okay, maybe it's just better I smile and say thank you. I say yes, sure, I will do that. Or accept that specific situation and be like, okay, let me bend my rules here, or let me not be comfortable in this situation so that in the future I am not at risk of some type of consequence or a bigger mistake happening, which is annoying.
And it's that skill that women learn, where they're like they assess situations, then they're like, will I be okay here if I say no?
Oh my God, you've actually just reminded me, like recently with work, after like doing a training and everything, then someone will want to take a picture of you after the session, or now start chatting with you, and you're just like, no, that will not work. And in that situation you're trying not to be hard, but it's like you're forced. They force you to do that, and I'm like, no. Sometimes you're just fed up and you're gonna get that no. So sometimes I feel like it's depending on the situation, on the day, how I'm feeling, how aggressive I'm feeling that day. I'm
Yeah.
like, whether we'll go to the police, whether you'll, call me for a disciplinary hearing or whatever, whichever way it will go, today you're gonna get the no.
Yeah.
So I think also it depends on your energy levels that day, where you are at that day, how your mental state, your emotional state. So it might be hard to say the no, and we understand that. But even for you, get yourself used to saying no.
Yeah.
Not only are they meant to hear no from you so that they can get used to it, but even you practice with yourself.
And that's the thing, I feel like sometimes in saying no, we are showing love to ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the one thing, especially for women, mostly for women, we never look at ourselves and love ourselves. We are always thinking of those other people, and then we think of ourselves after. And part of my saying no is because I'm seeing myself, and I'm like, Shiko, what is the best for you in this situation? Is it to say yes, or is it to say no?
Yeah.
And I've become more comfortable, and I think sadly part of it is because of growing older and whatever, and so my age gives me that sort of privilege to say no and not be questioned.
Yeah.
Not having to rely on certain people or whatever, or being able to have certain conversations where I can outrightly tell you, by the way, you're blackmailing me here. No, seriously.
Okay, for real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and for you not to take offense or to kick me out of the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So right now I can have that conversation, for example, with my family and be like, you know what, I want to say no, but you are blackmailing me here, and let's be adults about this thing. So
You reminded me. Have you ever pushed back on a situation, then someone laughs? Like, I can see how that would be with my family.
no.
Because of those ones where you're just like, okay, can you just chill out? Like,
I think for me, what also helps is that I have an unintentionally harsh tone. Like, I don't intend to be harsh. I'm being told I'm harsh, but I don't do it to be harsh. So I think people will not laugh because they don't know how I would react. I use it to my favor, to be honest, because I never say whatever it is I'm saying from a harsh place. Like, if I'm being harsh, you'll know I'm being harsh. But sometimes I can tell someone something and then they're like, "Ay, Shiko, you're so harsh." But I wasn't even being harsh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like when I tell people, "Can you relax or relax?" I'm not saying it harshly, but
Yeah.
I can see how it can be taken harshly. So I don't think anyone I would get pushed back because they just unpredictable. No, I'm
I think for me, it's more like people are inconsiderate
they
of
are
me.
quite.
Because you're the child. What do you bring to the table?
Oh,
In that way. So even when you're having like, you can't participate in some certain things.
Because you're the last one.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
I feel like, let me just remove myself from that situation.
Yeah.
You guys prosper on
I
your
know.
own and everything.
Yeah.
When it's important, I will check in.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like in some ways that's where I have reached on that scale. Let me go lead my serious life, because maybe with your family, you're like, y'all don't take me seriously or anything, so let me do me, but also trying to balance that, because it can get complicated. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I feel like we can, because I was just feeling feeling that thing of resentment when you say yes and you don't actually mean yes.
Yes.
So maybe there's some things when someone has put us in a position where we have to say yes or no. Maybe we can check in with ourselves. Like, when you say yes, does it make you feel good? Do you feel proud about yourself? Do you feel happy? Does it, make your soul smile?
Does
Is
it
it
bring you
watering
joy?
does it bring you joy? Or you're just like, actually, I don't feel good when I say yes for this certain thing. So sometimes we rush to say yes or we rush to say no, but maybe in both cases we need to check in with ourselves and be like, okay, let me think about it.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, someone is maybe asking us, do you want to go for this trip? And then give give yourself time to think about it, especially when you find yourself always saying yes. How about be like, okay, let me get back to you on that.
Yeah.
And so that I can have some time to think about how does it make me feel? What would me going for this trip mean for me?
Yeah.
Like, what are the consequences of that? Like, okay, during this weekend I was meant to do this and this, but now you're saying we should do this other thing. Will it mean that I'm tired, or will this trip actually rejuvenate me?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
at the end of it, like, do I feel happy with
Yeah.
that decision? I don't think we often put ourselves first in that
Yes.
position. We always
Yes.
think that, what does this other person want to hear? How will I look when I say yes, when I say no? But we should check in with ourselves and put ourselves in that position of now taking that action or doing that thing, and be like, okay, I'm happy with that, I'm unhappy with that. Then what does it mean? What do I need to do? So maybe I say no, but then I can put a qualifier and be like, no, I can't. Like, let's say my sister asked me to babysit. I'll be like, no, like, work is crazy. I can't babysit on this day, but I'm free on this other day. Or like, I need notice.
Yeah.
Because, creating
And those are the
a
boundaries.
system
Yeah.
where you're like, I'm not like being a hard ass.
Yeah.
Because I really appreciate this relationship that we have, but if you want me to do this, then it has to look like this other
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So that I feel like sometimes we're ridden with guilt because of saying no, but maybe to ease that feeling, we can be like, okay, I don't want to look like I'm creating a barrier between us. So to maybe extend the olive branch, I'll be like, well, no to this, but it can be like that. So that when I leave that situation, I don't feel like, oh no, maybe she feels like I don't want to hang out with her. I don't want to do this for her. But maybe also taking care of the feelings of that other person who you're saying no to. Because sometimes just that no, depending on the relationship you have with this person or who they are to you, it may come off as, okay, it just ended like that. Okay. It may seem cold or just incomplete in that way. Yeah. And I still do believe no is a complete sentence, but I
Yes.
feel like we should also take care of other people's, not everyone, the people who matter.
Matter.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I agree with you completely. And in speaking about boundaries, for example, I'm thinking about how we navigate boundaries. Because we've talked a lot about family, but I'm talking about like in friendships and let's say in romantic relationships or even in casual sexual relationship, and defining these boundaries, and after defining them, vocalizing them. Because saying no,
Yeah.
there's saying no the word, and then there's body language,
Yes.
there's all these other things,
Yes.
right? There's your actions and blah blah blah, but there's also saying no. I've said no. You know what I'm saying? And it's an exercise in learning, and it's an exercise in repetition.
Yes.
Because I feel like, and I know, even though this is my personal experience, many people say yes easier.
Yeah.
And because
True.
people will tell you no, but and it's a rejection or it's hurtful or whatever, but it still doesn't make you think that, oh, even me, I'm allowed to say no. You still keep saying yes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You say
I
yes
know.
to people to coming into your life. You say yes to all these things. Before you know it, you're so inundated with things and people and all it, when you could have said no and been at peace. So I think it's important to make the exercise, to make it be an exercise in defining your boundaries, like knowing. And it's that thing where you're saying you need to check in with yourself,
Yeah.
because it's not, we look outwardly a lot, and inward is where it matters.
Yes.
It matters a lot. So yeah, that's I want us to do that. I do it for me,
Yes.
and I feel like if there's any takeaway from this episode is that you should allow yourself that opportunity to say no to people, to
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
and even to yourself.
Without shame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Without, and I think the more often you do it, the
Easier.
Yeah, the easier it gets. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is my message out to the world.
Yeah, I mean, like, even for romantic relationships, sometimes they're like, some people are not good for you. So they may look exciting from outside and everything, but then maybe also a thing that we can practice is saying, actually, no, I don't think would be good for each other. Like, I can already see some things. It may look like it could be exciting, but I think we usually know. We usually know that this person coming into my life would be a mistake. Right
We
now,
don't
it
trust
seems.
our gut.
Yes, exactly. You're like, you bypass your gut and you're like,
If I say yes,
yeah,
it will work out.
I know. And I feel like saying no at the beginning, many people will be like, no, give me a chance and everything. But I'm
oh
like,
my God.
sometimes
Oh God.
save your energy.
No.
Save your energy. And I'm like, sometimes just balance the things on your plate currently. Don't overbook yourself, get yourself in all the types of situations. Measure yourself, measure what you're capable of, what your plate can carry, and say no.
And trust yourself, because the other thing is there'll be noises around you that are saying, oh, say yes, give them a chance. You know what I'm saying? But trust yourself, because, okay, it's still a romantic relationship, but I've remembered how once I said no to something. I didn't feel like, and so someone was like, you said no to your husband. I'm like, but I didn't feel like going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for them, it was okay. It was an old school I mean,
Yeah.
dealing with old school people is just a headache. They were like, when your husband tells you, you should just. I'm like, oh God, yeah, I didn't feel like, and I didn't do it. End of
Yeah.
story. But
Yeah.
I'm saying these noises, especially people who are so used to doing things a certain way, and for women especially,
Yeah.
and old school women, I'm starting to see a trend. It is that thing of sacrifice. I will sacrifice for this heaven that you don't even know if it exists,
Yeah.
or I'll sacrifice so that when I die, people will know how good I was. It's that likability thing.
Yep.
That let go of that thing of
Not
being
pushing
liked.
back.
As
A
in
woman is silent.
Yes, as in that thing of wanting to be liked.
Yes.
As in, why? As in, do you realize how men walk around not caring about likability? And then it's like a yoke. So you're saying yes to things you don't want to do so that you
Imagine.
can be liked by people who don't even see your humanity, for heaven's sake.
Who don't even think about you.
What? People who are out
You're
here
thinking, no, let me
living
say yes
lives.
to them so that they don't feel like.
Oh God, please spare me.
I remember you told me this thing about trusting your gut and saying no to something early. And if you are wrong, you can make amends later.
Exactly.
But let me not go through the emotions and the consequences by accepting a situation that is not good for me. Because, you can feel that it's not good for you. End it now. Say no now before you get into a more complicated situation that now becomes messy.
And don't forget, women are expected to have a high tolerance, that high tolerance for bullshit. So you just say yes and yes and yes because of this expectation of
Yeah.
high tolerance. Honestly, there is a lot to saying no
Yeah.
than just saying no. God. Ebu, say no today. Say no to someone.
Start
Please, for
today
me.
practicing.
For me.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
I am so angry.
Wow.
No, this is something like, because I see it and then, you can't tell someone. I'm like, why are you doing it? You don't want to do
Yeah.
it. Why are you doing it? I'm always like, why? But the moment I tell you that, you're like, you see me as this renegade.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why? Then
I've just remembered something when we were talking about the consent. That thing for consent can be withdrawn at any point. So with this dude, I had said yes to something, and then later on I said no. And before I said no, I was really scared and anxious about it.
expected.
But then I was like, I can't go through with it anymore. Like I just knew I can't pretend. So I said no. And they didn't get mad. They didn't. In fact, they were more caring because I think they got confused. Yeah. But they respected that boundary.
And we shouldn't be judged.
And I was
people,
so shocked.
But
to be honest, I was so shocked.
We shouldn't be judged.
We shouldn't, to be honest.
As in, that's what
but then
they
later on,
be,
I was like, but now they went further and asked me later on, like, are you okay? Like, did something happen? Did I do something wrong? And then I was like, to be honest, I was very pleasantly surprised that they chose to follow up with me to find out if they were okay, if we were okay. And to be honest, I was like, that's the first time with a dude I felt like I was not just an object. With many dudes, to be honest, I find that if I'm not being nice to them, if it's not about sex, if
utility.
it's not that form of utility.
I know. But
and
as in, sometimes
I felt good.
I'm friends with men, yes, but I'm in that relationship and I'm like, it's good I know why I'm in your life.
Yeah.
Like what purpose I serve. Because I'm not wasting any extra emotion or time or whatever. Like it's so easy for me to tell these people no because I know. I know what it is your as in what utility I serve in your life.
In your life.
Let me tell you, it is so freeing.
Yeah. Because that point when you withdraw that utility, you're like, okay, I guess they've X'd me from their life. But then when they prove that, okay, even though you withdraw that utility, I'm still concerned. I still would. To me that's surprising. Have you ever to me, I was pleasantly surprised.
It's like a token. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a small sample.
Yes. But I'm like,
sample.
For men to do that, it's shocking. It's like I was confused. I looked around. I was like, "Where are the cameras? Just can the red blink cut? Just put it on now." Yeah, but for me that was shocking. But it doesn't mean that now I give them, excuses or anything. It's back to business as usual.
Yes.
But that to me signaled something I've never experienced before, and I felt good about that, to be honest. Yeah.
So what is your takeaway? Your great takeaway? I feel like all our episodes we kind of like cut them short when we have
because they can go
talking.
forever.
I know we have to say no to ourselves.
Yeah. Do you know how hard it is to say no to yourself?
But it's important. Why? It is important. It is important.
I need to learn that in December. I think December is a month where what is a no?
No,
do you know what I know?
You see, you've even planned.
To be honest,
you've even planned and everything. So that's different.
To be fair.
But I feel like there's a lot of self-awareness that needs to happen, even when you're saying no.
It is definitely not the same.
Yeah, it's not as in it's your people do things because of conditioning and because everyone else is doing it, blah blah blah. But you think at that level of, and I'm not saying I'm like self-aware, open my third eye kind of thing, but I really want to continue questioning myself, and continue learning what I want and what I don't want, and like, who is Sheko? Who am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so what you've lived this number of years, I might discover myself when I'm 40, 45. So now.
And there's a new you who will
and you better accept. It's who I am now. So if you don't want that, move on. Eh? Yeah, exactly. So I guess my takeaway is practice. Practice saying no.
Yeah.
As Shiko said, to yourself, to others, practice makes perfect. I would say that's the parting shot.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm with you.
Yeah, so, and do you have a specific parting shot?
I said it earlier. I was like, say no to someone today. That is my takeaway. Say no. Women, I'm talking to you. Say no to someone today.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what are you listening to?
So, Tony, my friend, was suggested this group on Instagram called Durand Jones and the Indications, right? And they have an album that's called American Love Call, and that is completely what I love listening to. It's like R&B, Motown, jazz. It's like my carrying on. That is a carrying on that I am here for. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tony. for that.
That's good. It's always fantastic when someone shares with you music.
I
that you're like,
know.
ooh, that sounds
Do you
really
know?
good.
Let me tell you, someone sent me a video of a song
Okay.
that I had shared. I'm like, do people
Oh.
not read what I sent?
Can you just
Shame them, right?
no?
I'm just kidding. No, what are you listening to?
So thanks to Discover Weekly on Spotify, I discovered like it was really the first song of the playlist.
If you want one dear to stop talking about Spotify, please say yes.
Wow. I don't talk about it unprovoked. You don't ask me what I'm listening to. And I listen to music on Spotify. So I'll just be like, on that app that I usually listen to music. I'm like, I will give Spotify its flowers because that Discover Weekly playlist is fantastic. And it was the first song on the list. So even by the time I was able to move on from that song, it was no longer just the first day of the week. Yeah. So this song is called Signs by, you know the way parallel is, but without the A, you replace the A with the first A with a hash, with a dash.
Mm-hmm.
The hyphen. Yeah.
Whatever.
So P dash Ralel. So he has other people who are singing with him, but the song is called Signs. It's really dope, you know.
Is he like those six lack? It's supposed to be black,
Black.
but it's 6 lack.
Yeah, I
As in,
actually
why-
like
why-
black.
You, of course, you do.
Yeah.
As in,
Don't be classist.
I'm not-
I just like the way he sounds. Bryson Tiller. We're gonna listen to
Oh,
Bryson Tiller.
God.
We're gonna listen to. Do you want to go on?
God. No, me, I've accepted, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if it sounds nice to my ears, we're not gonna have it with my ears.
Hmm?
It's just the way it is.
I'm
Yeah.
with
So
you.
that song it's like, how would you explain it? It's like hip hoppy. I don't know how
New age hip hop.
it's like I don't know how to explain it.
Which artist is he like?
I didn't really check.
No, as in your ear.
It-
Like, what is his?
He's n-
who is he like? Is he like Amine? Is he like Tyler the Creator? Because that's where my head is
No.
going. Okay, so I
He's
don't
not,
know.
and he's also not like the Bryson Tillers or the Black.
Bass.
He's like in the middle of bass and like a Bryson Tiller ish. It's like oh my god, it's difficult. I don't know.
That's fine.
It's like one of those. He's really not popular, to be honest. And I like such music because it's like many of them are just doing what they.
Yeah,
They're
that's
having
why,
fun
and that's why
doing.
I thought about Amine because he's kind of like indie hip hop.
Yeah, it's like indie-ish.
Yeah.
But without the coffee house vibe,
Yeah,
but
the-
more hip-hoppy indie. Is that a thing like that?
Well, we can make it.
We
a
can
thing.
make it up,
We can
and that's the
make
way
it
it
a thing.
sounds in my ears anyways. Yeah, so it's like very vibey but also hip-hop like because
Okay.
there's someone who's rapping on the side.
Yeah.
So it's like Kamau-ish,
Brother Kamal.
Brother Kamau,
Okay.
but with
Gotcha.
lighter than that. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
Did you go to Brother Kamal when he came?
Yeah, you just want to make me feel bad again.
What?
I felt bad that time when I didn't go.
Oh, you didn't go?
I didn't go
That's
because it was
totally
at
your vibe.
Alchemist.
Oh God,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I've never been. I don't know if I'll ever.
We will go
be.
in December.
Who?
Aishiko.
I know how to say no.
She started too early. But seriously, like I wish some of these gigs would go away from the Alchemist. Concert Muse. Oh my god. I don't know, but I remember when we went for the Irish gig at Muse, I didn't click with that
With the
location.
location.
And I see all these artists are going there, and some of them I would be like, oh, that might be cool to go for. But I'm like, Muse? Even better, what's that other place at Westy? Where there's also Mama Rocks.
I have no idea. I've told you I've never eaten at Mama Rocks.
I've forgotten
Seriously?
the name. Jeez. Oh, what is a Westland?
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's like similar to, or maybe it's Alchemist, actually.
Yeah, I was about to
Actually,
say.
yeah, it is.
It is Alchemist. Are you
Oh,
confused?
yeah. But Alchemist has a better vibe than Muse. Because Muse, I feel like it's dark. I can't even, like, see, like, why are we in the dark? What do you want to do in the dark? Hi.
The things.
Yeah, but anyway, I wish those other alchemists that were not alchemists.
Yeah, that liked black people.
Yeah, that like black people need somebody.
Just say it.
Because I like the way it's open air and everything. It's not like people are hiding in the dark like Muse, but that's
Have you gone for speaker
chill out.
box at K1?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, like where speaker box is, I feel like it would be a nice place for like such Brother Kamau's stuff. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the end of the episode. Thank you for listening, and we shall catch you on the flip side.
Bye.
This podcast episode is recorded with the assistance of Courier. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts.